At EROAD, we believe fleet management doesn't have to be problematic. It should be effortless, connected, and future-ready for your heavy-duty operation. With a reliable, accurate technology solution, you can elevate your fleet's performance, improve productivity across your business, monitor events as they happen, and reduce costs and downtime. Get on the road to better fleet management and safer, more productive operations. Go beyond the basics and visit EROAD.com today.
Welcome back. It's Loaded and Rolling. I'm your host, Thomas Wasson, trucking expert here at FreightWaves. The topic for today, those of you joining us live, welcome. The various ways fleets are controlling costs. There's a lot of talk recently. If you've listened to any of the earnings calls in the past few quarters, including this one, cost inflation has been a huge topic. Maintenance, wages, all of these pesky things. Telematics insurance has been going up regardless of your fleet size. So today, we're going to be talking to the folks at EROAD, try to find out some strategies to help rein it in, because at the current market, it doesn't look like you're getting paid more, so you have to do more with less. I'm going to be welcoming on David Kenneson, Co-Chief Executive Officer at EROAD. David, pleasure to have you on the show. For folks who don't know much about you or EROAD, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, first of all, Thomas, thanks for having me on. My career has been a bit of a cross-country road trip in and of itself, stopping at many different destinations along the way. Really picked up a lot of different experiences in supply chain and logistics. I started off in tech, and I really wanted to solve real-world problems, using technology. Before EROAD, I've had the real privilege of leading several high-growth companies through transformative phases, entering new markets, bringing innovative solutions to market. And I really realized the immense potential of fleet telematics, being able to improve safety, efficiency, and sustainability in an industry that's really the backbone of our economy. So you combine that potential with machine learning and artificial intelligence that EROAD's bringing to market. And it was really the perfect company for me. And following my passion, I'm really thrilled to be driving that mission forward with EROAD. We were founded in 2000 and started off in New Zealand, branched out into Australia across the Tasman Sea. And now, we've been in North America for a number of years, and we're really expanding at breakneck speeds. And it's really an exciting time for us, and I think for telematics as a whole.
If there's I love the origin story, especially Australia and New Zealand. If you ever talk to Dean Croak from DAT, he loves to talk about the Australian convoys that they have and talk about telematics. You start out in there, you can figure anything out. Let's talk about these key challenges, because you've had it. The company has a lot of exposure. It's been in the business for a while. Is there any kind of recurring theme? Is this a cyclical thing, or is there something new across the horizon? What are y'all hearing across the wire?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Our customers are navigating a landscape that's more challenging than ever. I mean, just imagine driving through a stormy night, high fuel expenses, emission regulations, increased driver wages, rising maintenance costs. These are all the winds, the rain, the hail that they're battling today. And on top of that, there's a shortage of diesel technicians and drivers, which is just adding to the storm. I mean, right now, last year we had 80,000 drivers short across North America. So, our customers, to your point, Thomas, about doing more with less, they're turning to technology as their guiding light in the storm. They're embracing AI and telematics to streamline operations, to reduce costs. They're opting for all-in-one AI-enabled platforms like EROAD, because it's about making technology work for you and not the other way around. And in fact, it's really about cognitive offload. Being able to make quick, informed decisions, freeing fleet managers and dispatchers and all the back office from the tedious administrative tasks in this really challenging environment. Customers, who used to spend hours and hours tracking fuel usage and maintenance schedules, they don't have time for that. And after adopting our platform, they've been able to reduce that amount of work by about 80% and allowing the team to focus on real strategic day-to-day, firefighting and strategy, as opposed to, really just that admin of scheduling, because right now we need to find ways of reducing our costs. And the way to do that right now is really leveraging this information and kind of turning it into decision grade data.
It reminds me of I was at a 5,000 truck carrier when I first started my career. Our 2,500 truck business unit had an issue with fueling, and there we had to assign one person about 6 months to go through all the fueling data because our telematics were integrated to an extent, but we didn't actually know what to do with this data. And this was in like from 15 to 19, just to give you a time frame. For customers looking at a strategy, talked about offloading. Is there something most of them pick first, or is it a case-by-case basis depending upon if they have any existing tech or tech at all?
It's a really great question. When we talk about SaaS companies, it's all about landing and expanding. And I kind of look at what we do as more of sowing and growing. We look for the fertile areas within our customer base where we can add the most value right away and help them grow their fleet size, help them grow their operations. And in turn, we get to enjoy that sort of growth with them. But we've really seen areas all over, whether it's ELD, whether it's DVIR, whether it's dash cam, there's usually that initial point of, oh my gosh, we need a solution. And then from there, they can kind of look more holistically at our homogeneous end-to-end solution. So it's really a kind of a cornucopia across the board on where, but it all the underlying theme for all of it is safety, compliance, sustainability, and operational efficiency.
I'm loving the fact that we're finally looking inside the black box, because all of that data is there, but before the machine learning, I couldn't even wrap my mind around it. And so for those fleets that are looking at that safety one, is there ever a challenge? Because from my experiences across the aisle, sometimes they may figure out finally what the ELD does, but then they're not really investing in what the box is telling them for the predictive maintenance. They don't even know their PM cycles. They're just doing it every 6 months. Is that something where one of the challenges when you first onboard a customer or you're working with these customers to grow, just to let their different silos connect to each other? Because you have the platform, but on the day-to-day, it's like they don't always say hi to each other.
That's exactly right. Look, we've identified that as an issue, and I think you've really summed it up nicely, Thomas. There's so many different vendors inside the cab, inside the trailer. There's so many different OEMs that our customers have mixed fleets. What we've been able to do is create a single pane of glass that sits across the different OEMs, that sits across the different, maybe niche vendors that they have inside the cab, inside the trailer. And it allows them to immediately bring all that data together, make it decision grade data, apply the machine learning to it, apply the AI to it. And then over time, maybe upgrade or top grade some of these different solutions, these individual solutions with ours. And if you think about the advent of electric trucks coming in, these trucks in about 2030, 30% of all the trucks, heavy trucks on the road in North America will be electric, and they're going to be computers on wheels. And it's going to add more and more and more data. But to your point, if you can't make immediate decisions on it, it's not even worth having. When we started off in telematics with dots on a map, then we came up with, indicators that would tell us what went wrong. And then machine learning helped us understand why it went wrong. But with AI, we need to look at all that data and prevent it from happening wrong in the future.
That's my favorite success story recently with trucking, is that the AI and the machine learning is to such an extent that you can pinpoint a part if it fails and statistically find out what else will fail. I wish I had that with some of my cars. I had a Nissan Altima. Should have seen the warning signs. But when we're looking at that data, you had a great point with EVs as well. Tires, their drivetrains are differently, their tire wears differently. A lot of people in their braking systems. Is that something where when we're looking at folks who are just trying to digest this term, is that where you need the expertise as well, partnering with like an EROAD? Because that's one of the big challenges I see is a lot of people have the data, they don't have the right weights, and the AI doesn't know what to look at. So, garbage in, garbage out. How are you all kind of differentiating yourself and using that decades of experience to help folks out?
Yeah, it's a great question. If you look at most of the manuals they have, most of the predictive models they have on maintenance, they're really sort of cut and dry by number of hours of service or number of miles driven. But what the AI enables us to do is look at the temperature that we're driving in. Look at the way the vehicle's being driven, harsh braking, harsh acceleration. What kind of loads it carrying? What are all those different factors coming together, and how are they going to affect the maintenance schedule of that particular truck? And again, from a manual perspective, you can't look at every single truck when you're talking a fleet of 5,000, 7,000, 12,000. But AI, again, through that cognitive offload I talked about, allows you to look at each piece on each truck as an individual piece on that chessboard, if you will, and tell you exactly what we need to do for the predictive analytics and the preventative maintenance for that vehicle. Unplanned maintenance is usually about $700 an incident on average. So, the stakes are high, especially again with all the inflationary price pressures that our customers are facing today.
I do have a question related to that because I know we have a lot of upcoming talk. We're going to need data more than ever with the EPA Phase 3 ruling, more NOx emissions reduction. From my personal experience with it, they get clogged up, of course, region. They don't know how to do it. You call roadside out. Is there anything that you're looking at as we're getting this data and looking ahead? Is there anything that you think folks need to be more aware of as to why they need this data? Because it does look like we have some big changes coming up on even how the maintenance is going to be processed with these newer vehicles.
Again, it comes to the fact that insurance premiums have gone up 30 to 100%, over the last couple of years for many of our customers. Fuel costs are soaring. And, a lot of our customers have, they've done the basics, right? The tire inflation can save 3%, tire inflation to the correct pressure can save 3% on fuel costs. Aerodynamically retrofitting your trailers, that's another 15%. But those are kind of the table stakes. Our customers are adopting several innovative strategies, to stay ahead. And it's really a three-pronged approach. One, they're looking at vehicle upgrades right now. As I said, 30% of all vehicles by 2030, heavy, trucks on the road will be electric. But they're looking at electric, hybrid. They're looking at biodiesels, natural gas to help stabilize costs. Secondly, they're looking at regular vehicle maintenance, and it's crucial. And this is where technology really shines. With the real-time monitoring through telematics, fleet managers can shift from reactive to proactive. One of our customers right now reported a shift that's reduced their maintenance costs by 15% and vehicle downtime by 20%. And lastly, it's about optimizing routes using telematics. You wouldn't go on a family road trip anymore without actually considering tolls and road prices. If you think about one of our customers with just a fleet of 100 trucks, that's 12.5 million miles driven a year. That's 25 round trips to the moon. And our customers, some of them have tens of thousands of vehicles. So the number of things that can go wrong and the number of areas for cost inefficiencies is absolutely staggering. So there's not really one area. It's really looking across all those areas, and all with an eye, keeping an eye towards sustainability and the safety of the drivers. We got to get these drivers home safe, and we have to think about all of us on the road around these large trucks being safe as well. Because not only is there a cost, there's a human cost, and then of course there's a brand damage costs. We serve some of the most iconic brands, and we want to make sure that they can delight their customers, but they certainly don't want to have any kind of negative impact either to the environment or to the safety of those on the road. So we're really working with our customers to look across that entire spectrum of topics to consider when thinking about how they're going to run their fleets.
And looking at the insurance aspect, because you did allude to the fact that insurance costs are dramatically rising. We've seen a few high-profile cases like Werner with these nuclear verdicts. Is this a situation where, what are some of the steps that folks are using this telematics? Because you did hint at routes and other things which may impact your premiums and your risk profiles.
Look, one of the things telematics is allowing our customers to do is really put safe driver programs in place. These telematics can tell if a driver is braking harshly accelerating, disobeying speed limits, and can give real-time alerts to the driver. This isn't about being punitive. This is about coaching the drivers and about fostering, really, just a culture of safety within the organization. And if you focus on that, you're going to be able to get the benefits of lower insurance premiums through negotiation, through less events. Another thing that we see is extremely exciting is the use of AI-driven dash cam cameras. We've recently rolled out a brand new AI dash cam camera, and what this camera can do using AI is it can detect if a driver's blinking too much, if a driver's yawning, if a driver is on a cell phone, distracted out the window. I mean, this is really starting to get to the forefront of just starting to understand when the driver could be increasing their odds significantly of damage to the truck, damage to themselves, damage to somebody else, and being able to notify the driver and make sure that they're aware of it. Because, fatigue in driving, as you know, is something that just kind of creeps up on you. And it's certainly something that can be extremely dangerous. And these systems, they provide real-time coaching, as I said. They provide video evidence. A lot of times, there's a number of other factors that are causing accidents, and it's not the driver's fault. It's not the truck's or our customer's fault. And it's really important, that we have those kind of forensics, to help protect our customers. One of our customers right now who we've rolled out the AI camera to, they've reduced their accident rate by 30% within a month after already enabling a pilot of it. So, this not only lowers insurance premiums, but it enhances their reputation for safety on the road. So it's really, it's about turning potential liabilities into opportunities, for improvement and cost reduction. And much like before, I was speaking about preventative maintenance. It's all about taking a proactive approach to your responsibility on the road. And we're really pleased to play a big part in that.
I think that's one of the big takeaways looking ahead in the next 5 years is that it feels as though a safety and compliance and maintenance group have so much more in common, but it always feels my wife works in safety and compliance, so I hear the driver coaching all the time. It seems rough for a driver that you're driving really bad. You can tell the AI that you're like basically dogging this transmission, this unit. You're a poor driver, but then it's a safety person getting to you. But now with the technology, you can almost split it up and have coaching based on either an expert who knows the asset as well, saying, hey, you need to worry on your gear shifting, or here's how your ratios, or you can finally split it up, because it always felt like you just had a big old stick and it was safety and compliance, and then drivers just feel like, oh, well, they don't understand. They're not the ones, working on these things.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. This has to be a two-sided coin. There's of course a stick and there's rules, but there needs to be a carrot. We try to gamify this with our customers and their drivers. We try to give rewards for good driving. And, it's not always about just the driver driving well or not. Having the proper preventative maintenance improves the performance of the vehicle. And once performance starts to degrade on these large trucks, accidents, go up, exponentially. So making sure that the truck is running in perfect order from the preventative maintenance is so important, just as much as making sure the driver's doing what the driver needs to do and abiding by laws. And also, again, the exterior facing cameras can start to pick up a lot of things that other things are impacting the driver as well, and really provides another layer of protection, both for the driver and for our customers.
Do you see as well having all these connections working with various OEMs and providers? You have your hands in a lot of different pots for the trailer aspect, because it feels like the tractor is finally getting its time to shine. It used to be so reactive. I'm hearing more about trailers. I remember when we first started, we were just happy we had weight sensors in them because we didn't know if they're empty. But now people are telling me we can put cameras in the back of trailers. The trailer can talk to you. What are some things that you think that folks who need to know about? What are you most excited about as we're looking forward? Because I would have never assumed the trailer would become just as smart as the tractor.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. Listen, cold chain is an area that we are a dominant player in. It's an area that I'm certainly passionate about. Moving our country's food supply from point A to point B has to be done within a chain of custody, has to be done safely. And the only way you're going to achieve that level of excellence without wasting money and without wasting product is to make sure that you have the appropriate sensors in the back. And those sensors can be everywhere from, again, your typical tire pressure, gate sensors, but we can actually also test the air intake and the air outtake, and also look at the temperature and the type of product that a company is having, transporting, and using AI optimize the reefer machines in those units. And that can either be done with our Core Temp AI solution. It can also be done with our Core Hub Extreme sensors. But we also work with, companies like Thermo King, the OEMs, who have a lot of these sensors already in there. And now what we're trying to do is, going back to what I said before, is how do we take all that data and then send signals to actually optimize the control of that reefer unit? Predictive maintenance on that could save hundreds of thousands of dollars in spoilage. So again, to your point, it's not just about the driver, it's not about the trailer, the truck, it's also about the trailer, and it's about the load. So making sure that we have all of that information being considered inside the trailer is critical to moving that load and to making sure that everything is getting from point A to point B in the safest way possible.
The reefer stuff is always fascinating. I spoke with a driver a few months ago, and he showed me he runs reefer, but he said one of the challenges is that those units also take fuel. And so you're in a situation where beforehand, before you pick up a load, you just got to put that thing on blast, but you didn't have the technology. You could be wasting tons of reefer fuel and then killing your mileage in other ways. Now the tech is getting there. You can smartly cool it.
Yeah, so it's not even when our trucks or our customers' trucks are on the road. We can see them in the yard, and we can see a truck that needs to be, cooling down right now, and for whatever reason, it's not cooling. So we can turn that on or signal that it's low on fuel. But we can also prevent drivers or other people in the yard from turning on that reefer unit 6-7 hours before and just absolutely wasting fuel. It's terrible for the environment, it's terrible for sustainability, and it's absolutely awful for the cost. And then, of course, the reefer preventative maintenance on that unit. We pick up signals from those units, each individual unit, and we can start to see the various faults and the occurrence of those faults and predict when we need to make sure that there's not a full load of food moving across North America with that particular reefer unit, that we have a different unit running, and that's actually being worked on. So it's really a core area of our focus, and our technology around that area is really, really amazing for me every day. And I'll also say it's not just in cold chain. We also play a big role in construction. So our ready mix customers, we have an AI assistant that makes sure that the job site is ready, that the mix of cement is at the right moisture, that it's going to be arriving on time, ready to pour. And if the job site's not ready or the mix isn't ready, we're going to divert that truck in real time. And what we found is some of our customers are getting 1 to 2 extra pours or deliveries a day just through using that AI assistant. Again, having the data is great, but being able to make real-time decisions on decision-grade data, that's where AI comes in.
That's my favorite. I'm glad you mentioned construction. I never knew with any telematics. I went to a telematics conference and they're excited about that. They said that when you start it, you can't just save the concrete, and it's like asphalt. You can't save it. So I had a guy running around offering him. They got taken advantage of, but they're like, we got a job we just completed next door. You want some asphalt? Like, now with the technology, it doesn't go to waste.
Excuse me. No, you're absolutely right. And it goes by the quality of the cement, to making sure that our customers are delivering the best quality product. It also goes to the efficiency, as I mentioned, getting extra capacity out of your existing fleet with your existing drivers, with your existing costs. And then we also have drum rotation sensors, and this can help us. Listen, when those trucks are going down the street, spinning counterclockwise with tens of thousands of pounds of product in it, they just can't make a right turn at 10 miles an hour. It's going to tip over. In fact, that's a real big danger in the ready mix industry. And our solutions really either help route the truck through areas where it's not going to have to make certain turns, or also signals to the driver that, listen, I don't care what the speed limit is, you need to be driving at a much, much lower speed for your safety and the safety of those around you. So just really exciting technology that when you're driving next to these trucks, or you're eating your food, or you're seeing that cement being poured, you're not really thinking about how it gets there, but this is all part of protecting our supply chain and making sure that these things are being delivered safely across our customers' fleets.
Looking ahead, got about 2 minutes left here. Measuring emissions, we're talking about all the fuel economy. Is that kind of the next frontier? I guess it's a long question, but do you think we're there yet, or are we looking ahead that we may finally figure out how much I'm putting out from my exhaust?
I think it's something that it's on the front of all of our customers' minds right now. We have to think about the emissions we're putting out there, and there's so much we can do. It's not just the gas to fuel part, but to your part, the emissions and sustainability. Our solutions, again, the Reefer example I gave, not having it run in a yard, being able to do predictive maintenance on a truck just at the right time and not overkill, but doing that makes those trucks run cleaner. It makes them burn less fuel, and most importantly, it gives off less emission. So again, to recap, we're not just in safety, we're not just in compliance, we're not in sustainability. It's all of these things together that you really need to consider in your supply chain and in your fleets. And we're really happy to be playing in this market. And I'm thrilled about some of the new products we're going to be rolling out this year.
30 seconds. Folks want to learn more, find out best way.
Call us up, visit our website at www.eroad.com. Feel free to send me an email, david.kenneson@EROAD, and just reach out. And we'd love to help you with your challenges and see what we can do to help you reduce costs, increase efficiency, increase safety, and sustainability.
Perfect. David, thanks so much for your time. We'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure, Thomas. Have a great day.
That's going to be a wrap for this show. If you're just joining us live, we're also on demand. Apple, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you may find your loaded and rolling needs. Speaking of which, sign up for the newsletter. FreightWaves.com/loaded and rolling goes out Thursdays at 2. That's a wrap. Join us next week. We'll do it live.